Good afternoon, everyone. I am Arya with the Hurricane Watch Team, bringing you the latest update on what we now have as Tropical Storm Helene there in the Northwestern Caribbean Sea, which has formed. And as of the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center, currently Tropical Storm Helene is located near 19.5 degrees north at 84.3 degrees west at 180 miles east-southeast of Cozumel, Mexico, at around 170 miles south-southwest of the western tip of Cuba. So, here's the latest satellite imagery of Tropical Storm Helene. It currently has maximum sustained winds there of 45 miles an hour. It is moving northwest at 12 miles an hour. The storm is expected to strengthen over the next day, potentially becoming a hurricane by Wednesday as it heads into the Gulf of Mexico. So, we're going to take a look at the hurricane storm surge watches and warnings for the Florida Gulf Coast. So, here's the latest advisory. Again, 45 miles an hour, 75 kilometers an hour. Movement is northwest at 310 degrees at 12 miles an hour. The air pressure of 1,000 millibars. So, taking a look at the graphic, looking at the watches and the warnings, this is where it's located. There's Cuba, there's Mexico, here's Florida, and again, what I really want to nail down about this is as the storm, again, this doesn't have a lot of time. It's barely a tropical storm at 45 miles an hour. And I believe as the storm continues to intensify and rapidly organize, once it makes its way into the Gulf of Mexico, it's gonna really start moving really fast, and it's going to be producing quite some strong winds and some storm surge as well. It's gonna be pushing all this water ahead of it. So it's not going to be making landfall, here, and it's not just going to cut off and just make landfall there, because it won't have all this water ahead of it. It has all this water ahead of it, and it's going to push into the southeast United States, particularly the Panhandle of Florida there in the Big Bend area, as well as lots of strong onshore flow pushing into the Naples, into the Tampa area, where you could still see, according to the National Hurricane Center, 5 to 8 foot storm surge pushing in there, because it's going to have all this time to push that water up to the coast of Florida, as well as definitely the Big Bend area. Looking at the rainfall, this is not just going to be a coastal threat. That's one thing I do want to mention, is these storms do not just end where they make landfall. The effects go farther inland. And one of the main effects that we talk about here at the Hurricane Watch Team is the rainfall. Water is the #1 killer, unfortunately, of all tropical systems. As the storm makes landfall, it's going to probably be about 6 to 8 inches. Isolated areas could see 10 to 12 inches of rain. It's going to move inland, and there's going to be lots of flooding here. And especially, I'm very worried about, particularly near the Appalachia area, where we could see quite a bit of flooding in that area, as well as it's just kind of spin here. There's an upper area of low pressure. We're going to look at the models, and I'm going to explain everything to where everything makes a little bit more sense. Flash flooding potential. Again, this does not end at the coast. These rainfall threats go farther inland. As you can see, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Georgia there, portions of northwest South Carolina and extreme southern North Carolina are also going to be seeing some very, very heavy rain, as well as majority of the entire state of Florida, South Carolina, western North Carolina, southern Virginia, portions of Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, extreme northeast Mississippi. So a lot of this area is going to see a lot of flooding from this storm, because the storm is going. I'm going to go over the forecast and the modeling and talk a little bit about the flooding from this. So again, we're still seeing 10 to 15 foot storm surge. Once you see that purple, that is very, very serious. Again, 5 to 8 feet of storm surge here in Tampa Bay, 4 to 7 feet between the middle of Longboat Key and Inglewood, and all the way down here through the Florida Keys are all going to see a little bit of storm surge. And this is water above the ground. It's that simple. So when the water is being pushed by the wind, this is water that will physically be above the ground. This does not include waves on top of that. So you could also have waves on top of that. And it only takes 3 to 6 inches of rain to knock a person off their feet, and 12 inches water really to cause a car to start floating. So these rains, the flooding, storm surge is going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to caught a lot of people off of guard. That's what they're going to try to prevent here. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about the forecast models and where this, just particularly how strong this storm is going to be and where the storm is going to go. So there you go. You can see it rapidly intensifies. It makes landfall. GFS is showing a little bit weaker at 972. They in the past were showing 940. This storm does certainly seem to be very, very intense. There is an upper area of low pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere over Arkansas. It kind of causes the storm to split into two almost, and so it causes quite a bit of rainfall, lots of rainfall, and quite a bit of flooding here in the southeast United States. Now we're going to look at some of the modeling. Move into time here. There's the storm right there. This one model is always showing it way stronger, but just generally, you know, I actually would like to look at lower dynamics, like wind-wise. So, yeah, this is way off. This is not going to happen. I was just curious what this one model was showing. Yeah, 983 millibars. So that's what, a category 5? Yeah. So this model is always way off. I was just curious to what it would show. And as predicted, it is way off. Not even close. This is a new model run. I'm going to go to a little bit of an older run. So again, it intensifies. So we look at currently where we're at. Here it is, showing 43 knots in 6 hours by the 24th. There is 46 knots by the 24th there. Going to 25th. It's going to really start organizing. We're going to start seeing the wind and the wind field wrap around the entire center. And that's where we'll probably start to also see hurricane force winds once it makes its way into the southern Gulf of Mexico. There it is, 66 knots there. And really now we do expect the storm to just begin to intensify really quickly. 925 millibars, I still think that's a little bit intense. Very, very strong. And again, look at this. Look at, we're seeing 45 to 50 knots, so 50 to 60 mile an hour winds moving into the Tampa area, into the Naples area, pushing out water in. That storm surge is going to be a very big issue for Tampa and Naples. And then especially once it makes landfall, there's going to be some serious flooding consequences from storm surge right here along the coast. Now, it is good news. This part of Florida is not particularly heavily populated. You do have Perry, Florida in there, but it is not like Naples or Miami or Tallahassee or New Orleans or Houston or New York or Boston. There's not a metropolitan city area in there that's super heavily populated. So, but there are people that do live there. So we still need to watch out and closely monitor and watch the storm. Look at that, even 952, even once it gets into central Georgia. 962 in the 970s once you get to North Carolina. So this storm really holds on together, which shows it's probably going to pull in a lot of rain and a lot of moisture into the southeast United States. This one is a little bit weaker, way weaker, like it's a lot farther west. So if we go to the 0 hour run, 46 knots, let's see. Yeah, this one particular model is way weaker. And it shows that, right now it's 1,000 millibars. Here it shows the air pressure is 993, but it shows it weakens to 1001. But based on what we're seeing here, it does not appear that that's going to be what's really going to happen. And it shows that, there it is, 60, and then it weakens because it's over here, and then it moves over and makes closing in on Florida, 969, not even a hurricane there, barely a hurricane at 63 and a half knots. And they make it, 973. This one's, again, a lot more intense. Again, a lot of these models are still showing it being really intense. I think between about 940 millibars is how strong it will be. 120, 130 miles an hour is something that we need to expect from this hurricane. Where it says it's going to be a Category 3, prepare for a category higher than what they're showing at landfall. Always prepare for something worse than what is predicted, than what is expected. Because you always need to prepare for the absolute worst case scenario. This one model in particular, strengthened way faster than what I believe is going to happen. Here it is, 0 at 9. It says it's at 992 at almost over 60 miles. I said 54 knots. Much stronger. It's going to be something we're going to have to monitor and closely figure out how fast the storm is going to intensify. There it is at its strongest at 923 millibars at over 120 knots, 140 miles an hour. And then also looking at the GFS here as well. Also showing it reaching low-end hurricane intensity. We'll see how strong this becomes. Low-end, moderately strong Category 1. As of right now, it says it's at 33 knots. It's actually at 45 knots, which doesn't happen until tomorrow. They're at 997 millibars at 43 knots. So this, look at that, 40 knots. It shows it weakens. And that is tomorrow, and it's already probably closing. It's already strengthening and trying to organize right now. If we can really get more convection near that center, that's when we'll see the storm intensify. But we do have a lot of that upper level outflow from Tropical Storm, the remnants of what we have with Tropical Storm. I can't think of the name of it. John, that's right. There's John at 40 miles an hour, rapidly weakening right now. Completely falling apart over the mountains of Mexico. If we take a look at the satellite imagery, you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Kind of want to go farther away. There's the outflow right there, but it's just completely collapsing and falling apart over southern Mexico. And the outflow is kind of weakening. It's not as strong and as abundant as it had been earlier today, so it already looks like the outflow is weakening, which is why we believe that Tropical Storm Helene is beginning to organize quickly and begin to that intensification process. So we do have that Tropical Storm Watch, which is in effect from the 7 Miles Bridge to the Channel 5 Bridge. Now, if you happen to be in these areas, it is always going to be important to be preparing now. That is a great day to prepare. It's nice. It's not bad. In my opinion, it's pretty good. All right, here is the latest satellite imagery on Tropical Storm Helene. There it is. You can see the closed area of low pressure there. It is just exposed. There's some more convection on the west side now. But again, we do still have not a lot of convection, if any, near that center circulation. So as Helene continues to make its way to the northwest before turning north and speeding up on Wednesday and Thursday, this will also bring the center of the storm across the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Now, with the potential landfall across the Florida coast late into Thursday, with those warm Gulf water temperatures fueling the system, Helene could even strengthen into possibly a major hurricane going into Thursday, which we definitely are expecting to happen. So if we can really get a lot more convection near the center, I do expect the storm to just blow up. But that is not happening right now, because as long as we see that little spin right there and there's no convection over the center circulation, I do not expect this storm to go anywhere with intensity. It will remain at 45 miles an hour until we have some convection near the center. In fact, it may even weaken a little bit if we don't get any convection. Talked already a little bit about the rainfall totals and the storm surge, 10 to 15 feet. And again, the Tampa Bay and other areas across the western coast of Florida could experience a surge up to 5 to 8 feet. So coastal residents need to stay alert across the entire western coast of Florida. So you can kind of see the outflow here from John, which is blowing in this, which is moving into this area, and then you have Helene here. The outflow of Helene is some of that outflow is making its way into southern Florida across the Keys, Miami-Dade area, across portions of southern Florida, even going all the way, the outflow from this storm, literally going all the way over Cuba, Dominican Republic and Haiti, the Bahamas. So the outflow is quite intense. Now is the time to check your preparedness plans if you are in an area under hurricane or storm or tropical storm surge watch. Be ready to act quickly as we expect warnings to be issued later today. Remember, storm surge is the leading cause of fatalities during tropical systems. So if you're ordered to evacuate, please don't wait. So we are going to continue to monitor Tropical Storm Helene as it tracks towards the United States Gulf Coast. Stay tuned to the Hurricane Watch Team for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed on this developing situation. That is going to do it for here. This has been Arya White with the Hurricane Watch Team with your tropical weather update on Helene. That's me today, guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll bring you up with another update. Peace out.